Hello, everybody. It's about that time. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Gregsbeerreviews. Today, look at this great big 22-ounce wax-covered bottle. Yeah, my favorite. Wax on it. Yeah, tits on a bullhog as far as I'm concerned. This is the Deschutes Brewing Black Butte XXXI. And this is their 31st birthday reserve Imperial Porter with chocolate, cold brewed coffee, and cinnamon. No, caramel. I don't know what the hell that is. Aged in bourbon barrels. And I picked this up at the Kroger store in Blacksburg because I had to go up there and do some errands up there, and went by their store because they have a huge craft beer selection as opposed to the Kroger stores here in Salem that does not. So it is what it is, and I've seen this up there. This was not a cheap bottle of beer to buy. It was very expensive. It's like the 29th birthday reserve that we did a couple days ago, maybe a week ago, not long ago. And I picked up the 29th and the 31st. I didn't see the 30th up there, so I don't know what that was about. But the 29th and the 30th, and both of them were these big 22-ounce bombers with wax covering the top of the bottle. They're paying somebody to dip each one of these bottles that comes off the line in wax, which is like I said, tits on a boar hog. It's useless. That's just my opinion, though. People disagree with me on that. Whatever. It adds cost to the beer, guys, as far as I'm concerned. So these guys are out of Oregon. Deschutes does make some tasty beers. I don't buy a whole lot of them anymore. This is a 12.2%er bourbon barrel, and I probably the biggest reason why I picked them up because they were bourbon barrel beers. 52 IBUs according to Untapped. It says here, in celebration of our 31st anniversary, this year's Imperial Porter was inspired by Turkish coffee and uses cold brew from our very own Scott Hughes of Third Rock Roasters. And guys, when they get into these big beers, they can call them porters or stouts, depending on what they want to call them. So it is what it is. We have the ABV, we got the IBUs. It is a bourbon barrel, and you can probably get more information if you go to the website. It does have a bottle on date of 6/11 of 19 right here on the label. So it's about 6 months old in the bottle. This is their most recent edition. I guess the 32nd edition will come out in June of next year if they keep on schedule like they have on this one. So it is what it is. Final beer of the evening for me. So if you will bear with me, I'm going to get the old knife out and try to whittle and carve on this wax without cutting my damn hands or fingers off. All you guys know, I'm not a fan of wax covered bottles. I don't think it's necessary. A lot of people disagree with me on that, and it is what it is. I don't think anybody's trying to counterfeit anything like this. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it, guys, so as far as I'm concerned, it's useless. But, like I said, everybody has an opinion. It's like assholes. Everybody's got at least one. Some people got two. So, and I apologize for doing this on camera, but I try to do these beer reviews live and not do a lot of editing and doing a lot of crazy stuff. I want you to see what I'm going through to get the damn cap off of it, and what you have to do when they put wax on them and all kind of crazy stuff, which adds cost to the beer in my opinion. You'll never convince me otherwise. So it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. So one more carving here so we can get the opener underneath of the cap here and get it opened. That may be enough, so let's find out. And there we go. What is that, a 30-second to a minute process to get the cap off of it? So it is what it is, guys. I don't like it. I don't like it. Into the glass we go. I'm going to pour this straight down the center here, guys, and see what happens. It is fairly cola-like color coming out. It is a fairly dark beer, and like I said, they can call it a porter, they can call it a stout, they can call beers whatever they want to call them, guys, nowadays. If it's a pale ale, they can call it an IPA. If it's an IPA, they can call it a pale ale. So, what can you do? About a finger head on that pour, over into the light. It is pretty dark, guys. I mean, this could be called a stout if you wanted it to. I'm not getting a whole lot of light through the glass, not even through the thin part of down here. Maybe just a slight bit of red ribbiness in the color. I've got wax everywhere. It's a good looking beer. It is a very good looking beer. So let's get it to the nose. Rich roasted malt, a slight hint of the bourbon. Not big time, but a slight hint. Maybe some black molasses. A little bit of coffee notes in there. And according to the bottle here, it says cold brew coffee and cardamom. Cardamom. A lot of you people probably know what that is. Might be a slight hint of some bittersweet chocolate in there. More roasted malt and coffee than anything else. So, and being 6 months old, I don't know how much of the coffee notes fade. Being in a bourbon barrel, a lot of times it does, sometimes it doesn't. Smells pretty good on the nose. Very nice. Cheers, everybody. Very nice coffee notes. Very, very subtle bourbon notes, and that may be where they wanted it to be. They may not have wanted the bourbon overpowering everything else. So I don't know how long they left it in a bourbon barrel. To me, I like to have a big, strong bourbon notes if I'm paying an arm and a leg for a bottle of beer. The coffee notes are very prominent, guys. So if I was guessing, I would say they didn't leave it in the bourbon barrel very long because the coffee notes are overpowering the bourbon notes. But it all depends on what you want to drink and what these breweries want to produce and how much bourbon notes they want it to have and how much coffee notes they want it to have. The coffee notes are there, guys. This would not be something I would want to sell for 10 years because those coffee notes are going to diminish just like hop stew and IPAs and double IPAs. So if you want to get those big coffee notes, drink it as fresh as you can. The bourbon notes are not going to get any stronger if you sour it, in my humble opinion. But it is a very tasty beer. Alcohol is well hidden for a 12.2%. A very nice beer. This is a very tasty beer. Other than the cost of the beer being kind of high, but it costs them money for that beer to sit around in barrels in the brewery, and then it costs them a little bit more when they're going to have somebody dip each one of these in a waxed container. That adds cost to the beer. That's why it costs you more. That's how it works. That's exactly how it works. So, with that being said, nice coffee notes. We're going to sip on it, pour her some in a glass, and we'll come back and give it a grade. Very nice beer. A great beer for final beer of the evening, which it is for me. So, I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Nice lacing is left on the glass. It's a very tasty beer. Very, very tasty beer. It does have the ingredients here as far as the Imperial Porter brewed with chocolate, cold brew coffee, and cardamom, aged in bourbon barrels. The bourbon notes are not off the chain like some bourbon barrel beers are. That's probably where they wanted it to be. They didn't want the bourbon overpowering everything else. It's a very tasty beer, a great final beer of the evening. It is a pricey beer with a wax on top of it. I'm not sure I'm pretty sure. I'm absolutely sure that I would probably not buy it again. It's not where I want my beers to be, being bourbon barrel aged, but it's probably where they wanted it to be. They didn't want the bourbon overpowering everything else. I don't think they left it in bourbon barrels very long. But like I said, it all depends on what you want to buy, what you want to drink. It depends on where your palate is. It is a very tasty beer. The alcohol seems to be very well hidden. I am getting the coffee notes on this beer, but the bourbon is kind of subdued. It is there, but it's not like you're getting an off-the-chain bourbon beer like a lot of them produce. I mean, if I'm paying a premium price for a bourbon barrel aged beer, I want to be able to taste that and smell that very prominent in the beer. If I'm paying big bucks for them, and this was a fairly expensive beer to buy, so probably wouldn't buy it again. I will say that I probably wouldn't buy it again. It's not impressive enough to me to spend my money on it again. But I wanted to review it for you guys since I had not, and that's why I bought the 29 and the 31 edition of this beer, because I hadn't reviewed them before, and I wanted to see what Deschutes was doing with their anniversary beers. So decent, but not outstanding, guys. So with that being said, coffee notes are there, very prominent, very tasty. If you like a nice coffee beer, it's there. If you want a big bourbon barrel note beer, it's not there, but it's there enough to you can, if you're looking for it, you can find it. Found it. Very tasty, guys. I enjoyed this beer. It is a very, very tasty beer. A great final beer of the evening for me, which I said earlier. But it's not an outstanding beer. I want more bourbon notes if I'm paying this kind of price for a beer, a wax-covered bottle. But very smooth and easy drinking for a 12.2%. To me, I'm going to give it an A-. That's where I'm going to put it. 92 for me on this one. Over to Beer Advocate, they say 90. I think it's just a tad better than that. And over to Untapped, they say 4.15. That's also in their A- range. So, it's fairly well unanimous. It's an A- beer, guys, to me. The bourbon notes are not prominent enough for me to give it a better grade, even though they've got the bottled on date on there. And I do appreciate them doing that, instead of putting a best by, best before, used by, or whatever by date. They are giving us that. But they are dipping it in wax, which adds cost to the beer. Then people will tell me, oh man, that only costs 2 cents per bottle. Whatever. I don't think you should put wax on the top of a bottle. It's just my opinion though, guys. I mean, that's just my old man opinion. Then you have to carve on the damn thing to try to get the damn wax off of it so you can open it up. I think that's an unnecessary step. Nobody's trying to replicate these beers as far as I know or heard of. Whatever there, guys. So if you've had the Black Butte XXXI 31 anniversary ale here, birthday reserve is what they're calling it. Let me know what you think. You may think this is a 10 beer, and I wouldn't argue with that. But I've had a lot stronger bourbon tasting beers that were more impressive to me than this one has been. So, but still a very tasty beer, a well-made beer. Definitely worth picking up if you have deep pockets and you want to spend your money on this. I would not cellar this beer for a long time with the coffee that they've added, because those coffee notes will fade more and more and more over time. So if you've had it, let me know what you think. I don't think we need to go over anything else. 90 from Beer Advocate and 4.15. Both of those in their A- scales, and I agree with that. It is an A- beer. I want more bourbon notes if I'm paying a premium price for a bourbon barrel aged beer than what I'm getting on this. If you've had this one, let me know what you think. Till we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.